We are back for another Christian review of regular books and no spoiler review of The Fisherman's Gift. So let's get into it. For those of you who haven't seen one of these videos before, here's how it's going to go down. First, I do my regular review, what you know and love to expect from a book review, and my own personal opinion and rating of the book. But then I get into my Christian review, and that's where I go over the basic pieces that may or may not have a fellow believer or, frankly, anyone wanting to read it. I give way more information about these Christian reviews and any more information you may need at a video that's pinned at the top of this playlist. Also, there should be a tag or something like right here where you can click on it for yourself. So go ahead and click on over there if you're wanting more information. One last thing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these Christian reviews of regular books, as well as me and my mom's podcast, The Journey We Share, which comes out twice a month. The Christian reviews are online and available to you 4 to 5 days a week, and we don't want you to miss any of these reviews. Now let's go ahead and get into my regular review. The Fisherman's Gift by Julia R. Kelly is a book that was given to me through Simon & Schuster's Simon Buddy program. I was able to read the ARC using NetGalley, so thank you so much both to Simon & Schuster and NetGalley for the opportunity to read this book. This book was so interesting and I really enjoyed my experience with it. However, it did start very, very slow. What I thought was a story that was kind of historical fiction in nature and was going to kind of tell this story of a family, of loss, turned into a much slower slog through the story of grief. Now, grief can be a very interesting story topic, and I think it can keep us really engaged. However, I missed some of that engagement at the beginning of this book. The other thing that was a little bit hard for me was how many points of view you were getting in this book. I felt like we were constantly reading from different points of view, which made it kind of hard to track and understand what was happening. I read this book solely with my eyes, and I still had a hard time keeping track. I could not have imagined reading it with my ears because I think I would have no clue who was saying what and when and where. I love historical fiction and I do appreciate how the book ended up. I think it was really interesting where it ended, but due to the kind of slow pacing at the beginning and some of the writing styles, I rated it 3 stars. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. The first category I always love to touch on is smut or spice because it's very popular nowadays in a lot of books and there really wasn't anything to write home about. Again, I don't think that was the point of this story. On top of that, it takes place in like 1920s Scotland, so we're just dealing with a very different time and place. There is romance and relationships built into the story, but I think the story held more of a poetic type of feeling, so it didn't really have explicit scenes. The second category is if there's any violence or gore, and that's only because it has some topics around grief or challenging situations of drownings and things like that, but there really isn't anything explicitly described. Again, I think that comes down to the writing style because the writing style is more poetic, and so you're getting kind of a bird's eye view from the story instead of a very intentional, like personal experience of it. Ultimately, this book is clean. There isn't really anything to worry about in that regard, and I think this would be great for anyone aged 15 and up. The only reason why I think it's a little bit more appropriate for the older ages is again because of the storyline itself, or the character development itself, not necessarily the content that I generally am reading it off of. Please know that we don't want to end the conversation here. We would love to continue on. You can either leave a comment down below and I will respond to you, or one of us will, or you can send us an email at hello@trokia.org. I absolutely love partaking in these conversations. I'd love to know what books you want me to review or read, or any of the genres that you're interested in knowing more about. So please let us know. And don't forget to, if you want more of what I'm reading in the day-to-day, you can follow me on Goodreads, where I'm constantly updating what I'm reading and rating. I am also on Instagram, TikTok, and I do have my own YouTube channel, which goes over more of my current what I'm reading instead of just the reviews. As always, we are so grateful that you're here, and I cannot wait to see you on the next one.